Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for bearing with me. I I didn't join it, so I was playing with my lighting and everything, and Megan's like, "Hey, what's up?" So, for everyone who is tuning in tonight, I'm so excited. I am hosting some of the night sessions. I'm Casey. I am the host of the I Can't Wait to Tell You podcast and a founding member of the Shevolve Collective. The Shevolve Collective is a sisterhood that has not only made me some of the best networking connections, I've had so many women on my podcast and connected with women like Beck, but also some amazing friends. So, as for tonight, Beck Francis is here with us, and I'm so excited. A little bit about Beck. She is a super obsessed dog mom, a spiritual entrepreneur, a human design expert, a digital design nerd, and an endlessly curious soul. She has always felt the presence of spirit in her life since she was a child and knows her mom and grandmother before her also sensed it. After a crazy spiritual experience among the California redwoods accelerated her spiritual journey, Beck is now on a mission to fulfill her soul's purpose. Beck is a human design specialist and a 6'2" emotional generator and fuses her passion for personality types with supporting women on the front line of the world's awakening. If that is not cohesive with what we are doing at Unfollow, I don't know what is. So, Beck, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you to you guys and to Megan and the whole team. I've been watching all day or all morning for me here in Australia, and I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed by the speakers that you've had. So thank you for that. Talking about me being a super obsessed dog mom, I have my dog right here and he's struggling a bit. He's getting a bit older. So if you see him wandering around, that's why. I'm just going to let him do his thing. Okay, so human design in business. This is a massive subject. Human design in itself is an emerging subject. It's a huge subject. So what I'm aiming to give you guys today is really a cheat sheet about how to use it in your business, really how to work out what your type is, so what your design is, and a few kind of hints and tips and hacks about how to start using it in your business. And then you might find from there that you want to kind of go deeper and learn more, because there's so many layers to it. So I'm learning more all the time. So because of its complexity, I've put together a presentation just to take you through the bits and pieces as we go to make it a bit clearer. And then I'll make the cheat sheets available to everybody at the end of the presentation as well, so you can just take them away. So let me just share my screen. Perfect. Okay, so where were we? Welcome to Human Design in Business. A massive subject, but one that I'm going to give you a taste and a flavour of today in this session. So what will we cover? A little bit about who I am and why I'm sitting here and why I've been asked to present this information to you. What is human design? And that will be, what does human design mean to me and how do I use it in my life? A quick how to generate your chart and find your type, because you can go and just generate your free chart and find out your type, because that's really the first thing that we're going to look at and what we're going to be using today. And then some hints and tips about how to do business by your design, how to focus your energy in the right areas, what sort of sales copy you should use depending on what design you are, and really how to attract clients rather than going out and chasing clients. How do you attract them? How do you be authentically yourself and your type so that the right clients are drawn to you? So we'll go through that. And also just some pointers about how to find out more. If this really kind of has grabbed your interest and you want to learn some more, then we'll just go through that at the end. So who am I? So I'm Becca Francis. I'm from the UK originally. I now live in Brisbane in Australia. And I've been part of the Shevolve Collective probably for about 18 months or so, doing kind of two different things, human design and digital design. And that's how I met Casey, through digital design. So through human design, I help entrepreneurs up-level their online business and their life through this powerful modality that I've really only came across probably about 12 months ago. So that's who I am. So what is human design? That's a massive question. It's a huge question. And the more you get to know about human design, the more you get to understand that it's really what it means to you and how do you interpret it. So for me, human design is the story of your life, or the story of my life, written by the universe and written by your ancestors. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. What's the story of your life? What are you here to do? What's your purpose in life? What's going to make you happy and fulfilled and satisfied so that you can serve the collective? Because human design is very much about having your own life in alignment, but also helping the collective because you're in alignment. It's very much a twofold thing. So this book, Story of Human Design, what does it do? Well, the pages in the book reveal the impact that your life will have, both on yourself and the collective. So how are you here to serve the collective? What's your purpose? How are you designed to function so that the collective functions and to its kind of ultimate capacity? And the chapters of the book, they detail the energy patterns that will support you in living out this story. How do you best use your energy? How do you best focus your energy in the right areas, particularly in business? Make sure that you're speaking to the right people, again, so you can serve the collective. So really that's what human design means to me. I always bring it down to its most basic level. It's the story of your life. Now, it combines a lot of different modalities: Kabbalah, the I Ching, astrology, the chakra system, and then the deeper layers, the manifestation aspect of it looks at things like quantum physics, genetics, and biochemistry. So there's lots and lots of different layers. But the main thing for you to take away today, if you've never come across human design, is it's the story of your life. That's how I look at it and interpret it. So the first thing that we need to do when you're thinking about what kind of design you are and what type you are is generate your chart. Now, there's a few different places online you can go to do this, and there's lots of free resources you can use. The easiest one that I found is jovianarchive.com. So you can hop on there and put in your birth details. Now, the closer you can get to your exact birth details, the better. So your exact birth date, the place, and the time. So try and get the time as close as possible to your actual birth time, because if the time changes, then there's a couple of aspects of your chart that will change in line with your birth time. So try and get it as accurate as possible. And once you've generated that human design chart, the first thing that you want to look at is, well, what type am I? That's the first thing everybody looks at, and that's the first thing that will start guiding you in the right direction, particularly for business. So where do we find our type? So your type is at the top left of your chart. So this is my chart, and you can see up here is your type. So I'm a generator, so I can't hide anything about me. You can see everything about me in this chart. Now, the first time I ever came across human design and I looked at this chart, to be honest, I immediately closed it again, because it was way too overwhelming for me and there was way too much going on. So really all we need to look at today is the type. So what type am I? And as you can see there, I'm a generator. And what that means, we'll go into a little bit further. So in human design, you've got 5 design types. Now, the first one of those, or the one that's probably closest to my heart, I'm a bit biased, which is probably why I put it first, is the generator. And the generator is the most common human design type as well. And the next we have the manifesting generators. So the manifesting generators are a combination of the 2 types. One of the other types I'm just about to introduce you to. So they're a hybrid type, the manifesting generator. Then we've got the manifestors. So as you can see, the manifesting generator is a hybrid between the generator and the manifestors. And we'll go through each of their role in the collective in a moment, in a way which makes much more sense about who's designed to do what and how they're designed to contribute to the collective. So the last two types, last but definitely not least, are the projectors, beautiful projectors, and the reflectors, the very, very rare reflectors. So those are our 5 types, and everybody, regardless of time of birth, place of birth, date of birth, will all fall into one of those 5 design types. Okay. So when I first came across human design, I was trying to work out who did what, who fits where, what role do all these types have, in a way that I could make it more relevant to me and more easy to explain. So I came up with the analogy, and it's on a few different places around the net as well. So now I can't remember if I came up with it or I've just absorbed it. I have no idea, to be honest. So I'll be honest about that. But it's the one that makes sense to me. So we've got the collective. So all of the types, all of the collective are in a valley. They have nowhere to live. They have no food. They have no nothing. So what's going to happen to them? In order for them to survive, the manifestor puts their hand up and says, I know what we need to do. We need to build a house. We need to build a house to protect us all. And I am going to scale the sides of this valley, have a look over the landscape, and work out where the best place is to build this house. And they inform the collective that they're going to build it. They inspire them. They have these creative downloads, and they say the house is going to make you feel like this, and it's going to be amazing. And the energy that they're talking to the collective about this amazing house with is quite forceful, and it's not an apologetic energy. It's a strong, powerful, I've had a divine download. This is what we as a collective need to do. So that's the role of the manifestor in building this house. So they have the idea and they initiate the house building. So the manifestors had this idea, but they don't have the energy to do anything else, because what they do is initiate. So what now? What is this house going to look like? So that's where the projectors step in. Now, the beautiful projectors aren't here to work in the traditional sense. The projectors are like our architects. They're the ones that are going to draw up the plans. They're going to gather the collective round and say, look, this is what it's going to look like. This is how we're going to build this house. This is the plan, basically. They see the systems and the plans that need to be put in place in order for this amazing house to be built to further the collective. So that's our projector. So the projector's got the plans, but they don't have the energy to build the house. Their energy goes into planning, not into building. So who's going to build the house? So the generators are the ones that build the house. The generators are the real workhorses of the collective. They have this incredible sacral energy that when they find the right project and focus on something that really lights them up and really excites them, that's when they can work and work and work and work day and night and fall in a happy heap at the end of the day, because they have this amazing sacral energy. So it's our generators that are actually going to build the house from the plans. So this house is built, it looks beautiful on the outside, but what about the inside? Who's going to decorate the house? It's not going to be the generators, because they're the workhorses. They've done the hard bit. They're not interested in the bits and pieces and the fluffy bits. So along come our manifesting generators. So the easiest way to think about our mani-gens is like a decorator. So they go from cushions to paint colours to soft furnishings to wall colours to floor coverings. They're interested in lots of different things, and they can switch their energy from thing to thing to thing, and they can juggle multiple passions at once. So that's why they are perfect decorators, because they really get stuck into paint colours, paint the house, done, move on to the next thing. Those are our manifesting generators. So the last person that we need is somebody to tell us in the collective if we've done a good job. You know, is this house somewhere we want to live? Is this going to be good for our energy? So this is where our reflectors come in. And our reflectors have a look at what we've done. They take in the energy from the rest of the collective and reflect it back to them. So if the collective's feeling that, yes, this is a healthy environment, this is a good place for us to be, it's the reflector that will reflect that back at them, reflect their energy back at them. So hopefully that's an easy way to understand the very specific role each of the types has in kind of building the collective and building humanity and, building a place where the collective can thrive on the earth. So that was the easiest way I found to remember it. So what does this mean in practice when we're thinking about business? Each of the types has a very specific way of doing business and a very specific way of talking to their audience in a way that they can be magnetic and draw the right people to them. Because human design in business is really all about aligning yourself with the energy that's right for you, so that the right people will be drawn to you, rather than going out and chasing everybody's, everyone that you come into contact with on Instagram, slipping into everyone's DMs. That's not what we want to do. We want to attract the right people to our DMs. So, you beautiful manifestors. So if you think back to our analogy, the manifestors were the ones that have the idea to build the house. They told us how it was going to be. And that is manifestor energy. They tell you how life is going to be and how business is going to be and how amazing you're going to feel if you come into a program with them or if you have them coach you. They're very, very informative. So the manifestors or initiators they're fairly rare. They're about 9 to 12% of the population. So you manifestors are here to start things and then move on to the next thing. You're not here to start things and see them through to the end and be the workhorse for that particular project. That's not where your energy lies. And you can see the manifestor has an undefined sacral, which means they don't have that battery like the generators do to work and work and work and work. They have a very creative energy and they tend to work in cycles. So a traditional 9 to 5 is no good for a manifestor. Their energy doesn't work well in that sustained kind of period of work. Manifestors are designed to work in cycles of work and cycles of deep rest. And that can be in the span of a day, or that can be in the course of months or weeks, not just a day. So they're not designed to power through that traditional 9 to 5 day. Like I said, they have tremendous initiating power and they're able to act independently and they're able to start things off, inform the collective, build a team and have that team do the kind of grunt work, so to speak, to get a project off the ground. We love our manifestors and the rest of us types need our manifestors because we respond to their energy. If they're the ones that are saying to us, we have to build this house, we have to protect the collective, it's going to be an amazing house, the rest of the types respond to that. Their energy will respond to what the manifestor is telling them. But because the manifestor can be seen as a little bit abrasive and a little bit forceful in the way that they put their views across and their ideas across, they always need to let the people around them know what's happening, because that calms the energy around them. It calms the rest of the types. It's no good if the manifestor comes running back and says, I found somewhere to build this house, and then just starts running in circles and doesn't tell anyone what we're doing, because we're all waiting with bated breath. So to calm that energy, the manifestor must inform the people around them or people in their kind of impact zone what they're going to do. Okay, so what does this actually look like in business? So when you manifestors are talking to your clients and you're putting together sales copy, or you're using your voice on IG stories, because things like that are really powerful for manifestors. The energy that comes through in their voice, because they have a motor center here that's connected to the throat, the energy that comes out of their throat and the power and the authority needs to be heard. So anything that where your voice can be used, YouTube, IG stories, IGTV, anything like that, then the right clients will hear the energy and the authority in your voice, and they will be drawn to you. So use a lot of I statements. I see this for you. I see that for you. I know if you're in my program with me that I can help you if you have this type of issue. So lots of I statements. Bold, informative language, which can be polarizing. There's no question that the manifestor can be polarizing because their aura can be quite repelling as well because of the type of energy they have. So that's the kind of language that will naturally flow for a manifestor, and it should, because that's what's going to speak to their clients. You should be very factual as a manifestor, so not so much storytelling, but more, this is how it's going to be. And I know this is how it's going to be because I believe in what I can do for you. So very, very factual language works really well. Lots of oversharing about your vision for your offering. So if you're launching something, get on IG stories and convey that excitement, convey that authority, and convey to your ideal client what it's going to look like if they come into your program. You know I can help you. I know that your business is going to thrive once you work with me. I was in a program at the beginning of the year with a manifestor, and I can see exactly how this worked for her. She's very, very magnetic in the way she speaks, particularly on IG stories. So let people know, what does life actually look like after they go through your program? What are they going to feel? How is it going to look? A manifestor really needs to step away from the dominant generator model of working, because most of society is currently based on that generator model. Just make it happen, just go, 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 go. That's going to burn a manifestor out very quickly. So they say what they need to say, and then they get off IG stories. They're not constantly scrolling through. Using teams and systems to streamline your workload is imperative for a manifestor, so that they can get out their initiation. They can say, this is what we need to do, and then they can rest and conserve the rest of their energy. So like I said, speaking, podcast, video, conversation, anything where they can use that powerful voice is important. And then, like we said, create a team and let them do the work, which is never a bad thing. Okay, so our beautiful projectors. Projectors are around 20 to 25% of the population, and they're known as the orchestrators. So these are the people in our house building scenario that are the architects and the planners. They see systems really well. They see how you can tweak things in your life to get better results. They see that and they know that. So they're here to advise and guide the collective. They're not here to be workhorses. They're here to impart their wisdom about how to do things better and more efficiently. So they have the energy to guide and direct. They don't have the energy to do the work themselves. And that's because they have an undefined sacral center, so they don't have that sacral battery. They need a lot of rest. So they're designed to work in short, deep bursts. So they get a lot done in a short amount of time, but then they need to rest. So there's no way that a projector should be in a traditional 9-to-5 job. Their energy just will not support it. There's no way that they can thrive in that environment. If you are a projector and you haven't been introduced to human design, and you do tend to go, 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 and just force yourself to keep working, you probably will experience burnout. So a lot of projectors experience burnout by around 40 if they haven't learned to manage their energy and conserve their energy. Because there can be a little bit or a lot of shame for projectors, a lot of conditioning, because people can see them as lazy or uncooperative, and they're not at all. They just need those real deep periods of rest in order to thrive. They just thrive differently than the way a lot of the population do. So what does this look like in business for projectors? Lots of you statements. You want to be showing your audience that you understand what their issues are. And so they understand that you can help them. You might find that you have this problem in business, or you might find that when you go to create a sales page, this happens. So lots of you statements. They guide the conversation. They show their audience, they can see what the issues are and what the problems are and how they can help. The issue for a projector is that they can only move forward, they can only really put their energy in the right areas once they've been invited to. So somebody has to recognize that they know what they're talking about and go to them for advice. And that can be challenging when you're trying to build a business. So it's important for projectors to create that tribe of people who recognize them for their expertise. A lot of projectors thrive well in Facebook groups because of that, because they have this group of people that understand that they know what they're talking about. So once a projector's been recognized and someone said, you know a lot about this, teach me what you know, that's when a projector's energy is flourishing, because they've had that invitation to join, to impart their knowledge. So that's the projector. Okay, the generators. So generators are the most common type, about 35 to 38% of the population. And there's several different names for projectors. For generators. Sometimes we're called builders, sometimes we're called alchemists. I much prefer alchemists. I think that's a much more exciting term than builders. And some generators, when they find out what type they are, can kind of be almost a little bit disappointed, because they're, we're the most common type and we're the workhorses, and we're not kind of special. Generators are incredible. Generators are the life force of this planet. Generators are why we have the society that we have, and the structures, literally the physical structures that we have, because they have that sacral energy. They're able to work and create those structures in a way that none of the other types are. So they really do support the collective from that perspective. So the way they're designed to work in business is find something that lights them up, find something that catches their attention and makes them excited and makes them want to work on it, and master that one thing over time. So generators aren't designed to jump from niche to niche to niche to niche and thing to thing to thing to thing. That's not what we're designed to do. We're designed to find that one thing and love it and master it. That's what and none of the other types do that. So we're suited to finding a niche and becoming the go-to expert in that niche. And we're designed to teach one thing to the collective over and over and over again. So what that can look like is having one course, one or two kind of signature courses, and we re-release them over and over and over again, because we're teaching the same thing to different people in the collective. And that's what our energy is designed to do. It's that mastery that we want to let people know, want to communicate information through that mastery. Now, our design defines sacral. So here is our internal battery, meaning we can work super hard at something that we love and then collapse in that heap at the end of the day, not drained, but exhausted. So there's a big difference for a generator. For generators doing something that they love, they can be exhausted, but not drained. So, for example, I'm just transitioning out of my 9 to 5. And at the end of a day, by the time I get home, I'm drained. I've got no inspiration. I've got no energy. I've got no interest in doing anything. Whereas if I'm doing digital design all day or doing human design coaching, then I can just go on for hours and I can lose hours. I can look up and hours have gone past. and I haven't noticed. And I can be exhausted, but it doesn't drain me because it's not kind of draining my so-called battery. So if I'm not working at something that excites me, I can feel drained and I can feel frustrated. So the generator strategy, they're not designed like the manifester. They're not designed to go out and make things happen. Even though society tells us, just go out and do it, just force it, make it happen, make it work. That's not how the energy works for a generator. A generator will have opportunities and invitations come into their reality, and then they respond to them. Is this something that I should put my energy into, or is it not? It's not a case of going out and making things happen. And I know from my perspective in business, for years and years and years, I pushed and pushed and went out and tried to make things happen. And it was like banging my head against a brick wall constantly, constant frustration. But once I found my type and I started to kind of dig deeper into human design, now I wait for things to respond to and opportunities appear. They literally do. And unless I'd experienced it, I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell you about it if I hadn't experienced it. But as soon as you get in alignment, things just start to appear in your reality. And then I can respond to them and go, yes, that's something I'd love to do, or not sure. So that's how we're designed to work. So what does this look like in business? Market research is huge for generators because that way they have something to respond to. So a lot of times I'll sit and think, oh, I need to do something new. I'd like to do something new in business. And then everything starts happening up here and the cogs start whirling. That's not where we should make decisions from. So I stop, I get back into my body, out of my head, and I put a poll on Instagram. And I say, I'm thinking of doing something new. Do you want a course or a live webinar, or do you want a recorded course, a digital course? And then my audience will vote on it, and then I can respond to it. So that gives me something to respond to. And I might respond and think, I don't actually want to do either of those now, or I only want to do one or want to do the other. So it's that sacral that will be drawn to what's right for me. Sales copy, very conversational. And you can probably tell from this presentation, I just talk and talk and talk and talk as though I'm talking to you guys directly, because that's naturally what my energy wants to do. I want to know about you. I'm inquisitive. It's conversational. So that's what I all put in my sales copy because it's natural for me. I want to ask questions, lots of questions, and lots of, oh, do you guys find this as well? I find this happens when I do this. Do you get that too? Do you find that too? That works really well for generators, really starting that conversation. So share your excitement about your new program. Take people behind the scenes. So that's what I've been doing this morning on my IG stories. I've been taking my audience behind the scenes of prepping for this session, getting my clothes together, having a bath. I got bubbles all over Oscar because he was virtually in the bath with me, that kind of thing. Because your audience, as a generator, the people that are drawn to you will love that because you get them. You're kind of on their level, and they love that they're getting kind of a peek behind the curtain, so to speak. And just share how much fun it is. We should all be having fun in business, because otherwise, why are we doing it? If it's a real blog all the time, then you're not going to be attracting the right people to you. So just share how fun it is. Even when things go wrong, it doesn't. Share that too. So conventional marketing practices for generators, so that going out, make it happen type energy, write down 5 ideas you have and make one of them happen. That does not work for generators. It just doesn't work, because I did it for 10 years and it didn't work. So like I said, once you're in alignment and those opportunities start to come into your reality, you can then decide which ones you want to respond to, because you don't have to do everything. There are only certain ideas that are right for you. So don't feel as a generator that you need to say yes to everything, even if somebody asks you for it. Just wait and honor that sacral response and see how you actually feel. So get out of your head into your body. So that's the generator. Let me just grab some water. Okay, manifesting generators. So these beautiful souls are a hybrid type between the manifester, so the one that tells us we're going to build the house, and the generator, so the ones that actually build the house. So our manifesting generators are going to decorate our house. They're the ones that are multi-passionate and can juggle lots and lots of different things. They're also known as the time benders of the collective, which I love, because they can take quantum leaps, because out of all the types, they work the fastest. They work really, really fast. They know which shortcuts to take. That can trip them up sometimes, you many gens, because sometimes when you take shortcuts, you miss the tiny details and you have to kind of backtrack. But the manifesting, if you want anything done quickly, or you want to learn something quickly, give it to a manager and they will get it done if they're. So they're about 30 to 35% of the population are time benders. And like I said, they're hybrid type between the generator and the manifester. So unlike a generator, Mani-Gens are designed to work in a broad niche. As a coach, if I tell my clients that they have to find one thing or one niche and go deep in that niche, they'll be so frustrated because that's not how their energy works. So they can have a broad niche. You know, I can have a niche of human design, but I can do lots of things underneath that niche if I was a manifesting generator, because that's what really lights them up. They don't like to be boxed in, and they don't like to not have their freedom. So if you are coaching a Mani-Gen, discuss having a broad niche and then let them play under that broad umbrella. Because like the generators, they have this real playful side and they love to try and kind of taste of different things. So broad niche will work really well for Mani-Gens. So the way they work is they work in phases. So like the generator, they're designed to do something they love. But then like the manifester, they're designed to move on to the next thing. So they may be really, really into, say, art, for instance, just off the top of my head. Then draw and paint. And when they do that, they'll do it for hours and hours and hours, days and days and days and days. It will be their thing. And then all of a sudden, that won't hold interest for them anymore, and they'll move on to the next thing. And again, that can be different for difficult for Mani-Gens, because society tells us that we should find one thing and stick to it. You know, make up your mind, don't flit around from thing to thing, find what you're going to do and then work on it. Mani-Gens aren't here to do that. That's not what the collective needs them for. The collective needs them to be the bridge between the manifestors, so the ones who initiate, and the generators, the ones that are the real workhorses. So the Mani-Gens are designed to find one thing and stick to it, although society tells us that we should. So they're multi-passionate, which is, I love that phrase. You know, they don't, some people look at it from the outside like they can't settle on anything. I look at it as multi-passionate. And they're the only type that does this. So each of the types are designed to do their thing and their thing only. Not that human design should be limited in any way, but what it does tell us is what we're most suited to and what's going to further the collective. And for Mani-Gens, that multi-passionate side to business is what really lights them up. So they're designed to juggle multiple projects that they really love. So what does this look like in business? So practically, if you're a Mani-Gen, again, like the generator, create a back and forth conversation with your copy and allow questions that let your audience respond to it. So same as the generator. Do you guys find this? You know, do you find that? lots of polls, lots of question boxes. They work really well for Managens. So particularly for Managens, when they're creating offers, if they're creating things or creating offers that are not in response, if they're not responding, they're creating things out of their head or things that they think should be in existence, those are the programs that will be hard to sell. And it doesn't matter how good their sales copy is, if they're not creating something that's in response to something that's come into their reality, it's going to be really hard to sell those programs. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been in that position a lot. And it's hard and it's heartbreaking and it's really demoralizing. So if you're a manifesting generator, this is what you need to do. Don't keep creating things because you think you should. Be creating things in response to what's coming into your reality. And if you do that, if you're creating programs that aren't in response to what's coming into your reality and you're out of alignment, that will disconnect you from the collective and make it even harder to attract clients, because clients won't be able to see what your energy is. They won't be able to align with it because it's just, you're just pumping out programs and pumping out products that aren't in alignment. So they're going to kind of back off and say, yeah, I don't understand this energy. This person isn't for me. So when you're looking at marketing and marketing strategies and marketing systems, if you put all your energy as a Managen into one thing, into one marketing system, and don't kind of have that broad niche. So don't, if you're just putting your energy into, say, just IG stories or just Facebook or just Twitter, you know, just one thing, your energy is going to implode, because or the what you're trying to do is going to implode because you're putting all this energy into one area. So remember, as a Managen, you're designed to be multi-passionate and multitask. So we're always told, you know, choose one or two social media platforms and focus on them. If you're a Managen, you could do 3 or 4, because you'll get too bored just focusing on the 1 or 2. You can really kind of spread your energy over those 3 or 4. And it's really aligned for you to have 2 or 3 ways of bringing people into your business. So not just one channel, but 2 or 3 channels that you can kind of play with. That's really good for a Managen's energy. So that's the Managens. So the last of our types are reflectors. Beautiful, beautiful. All the types are beautiful. And every time I flick onto a new type, I say they're beautiful, but they really are. The reflectors, or calibrators, as they're also known, are the rarest type. There's only between 1% and 2% of the population reflectors. I often look at celebrities and what their different types are, and there's only 2 that I can think of off the top of my head that are reflectors. So Sandra Bullock is a reflector, and Teal Swan is a reflector as well. They are very rare, and you can see when you look at photos of Sandra Bullock, you can see that there's something different about her and something kind of different behind the eyes. It's almost like an alien type energy. I know I might be going out on a bit of a limb saying that, but it really is a special kind of hypnotizing energy, because they're reflecting back. You know, we're not seeing who they are. They're reflecting back to us what the collective energy is. So they're very unusual types. So the way reflectors make decisions is by feeling through their options through a lunar cycle, so through 28 days, because they see what their options are from different perspective as, you know, the lunar cycles kind of travel through. For smaller decisions, because obviously they can't wait 28 days to make a decision about everything, that would drive you crazy. So the reflectors, for smaller decisions, they have to be in the right environment. So because they're always reflecting back the energy, the environment, if they're in an environment that's very loud or the energy is very fractious or it's very noisy, it can be hard for them to focus and hard for them to make decisions. So if they need to make decisions, they're better off to be in an aligned environment for them where they feel really comfortable. So like I said, they take in the energy of the collective and they sample a frequency of that energy and they reflect it back. So in the house scenario, that's why they're the ones that look at our house and say, yes, this is healthy, the collective to live in, or no, that room needs tweaking, or the colour of that wall needs changing. That's not going to be good for the health of the collective. That's what they're doing all the time, which can be exhausting. So they need a lot of rest because they have very open centres. They have an open sacral. They don't create their own energy. So they're always reflecting back to us our energy. So they need a lot of alone time because they need to discharge all that energy that they're reflecting. And like projectors and our manifestors, reflectors are definitely not here to work in a 9-to-5 pattern. They don't thrive in that environment at all because they need so much rest. And they must always be in the right environment to feel aligned. You know, noise and loud environments can kind of really knock them around. So what does that look like for our reflectors in business? Again, Facebook groups are really, really useful for reflectors because they can gather this community around them. So they create and share content when they're inspired to. Reflectors, if you're coaching a reflector client, them having a kind of timetable for posting content, for example, that can be really overwhelming for them. Because they're sampling energies all the time, there'll be some times that they feel inspired to post, and there'll be other times where they feel completely uninspired to post, and they do not want, as we say in Australia, they don't want a bar of it. Like, they just don't want to post. So that's something to be really mindful of when you're coaching your reflector clients. And they may also find that their voice and their perceptions change radically over time, because they're so aligned with lunar cycles, but they're also sampling different energy from the collective all the time. They may have different perspectives a lot of the time. So planning, if we use the analogy again of social media posts, planning them out too far in advance and that content can be really jarring for reflectors, because they might get to that day and think, I don't want to post that. I don't even think that anymore. I want to post this, which is completely different. So because they're always sampling energy, they're fantastic at intuiting what the community needs to hear, because they feel on such a deep level that they will know what their potential clients need to hear and how they need to be helped. So the most important thing for a reflector to know or to remember is to slow down and rest. These types need so much rest, and they must honour that or they will burn out. Talking with trusted advisors is really important for them when they're making big business decisions, because they don't have the same kind of inner authority that other types have, which is kind of another layer of human design. And like I said, it's good for you reflectors to create and share content when you're inspired to, and then just move away, put your phone down and move away when you're not inspired to, because forcing it will never ever work for you, for any of us, but particularly you guys. So those are the reflectors. So that is a very, very quick journey through marketing for different types. So, and if you guys want to find out more, you can DM me, Becca_Francis. I'm always on Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram because I'm a generator. I'm focused on one place and one thing, and I love Instagram, so that's where I am. And I've put together the cheat sheets from this presentation if you want to go and find out what your type is, and then download the cheat sheets and use those in your business. You can get those at beccafrancis.com/unfollow. So I hope that wasn't too much information all at once, Casey.
No, that was amazing. From the looks of the Facebook group, we have at least one of each who is watching live.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that was amazing. And we have some people saying, and I was thinking this the whole time, how helpful and energy saving it would be for any of us to know this. Because then when you hear yours, you're like, no wonder. For me, I'm like, no wonder I can't work a 9 to 5, right? That you try to fit into these little bubbles that aren't working for you. So to know this is so useful.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, it's been a complete game changer for me, utterly, with the way I do business and who I do business with. And yeah, such powerful information. And there's so many more levels to it, but at its most basic level, knowing your type and honoring your type and knowing the way you operate and not feeling shame for that, I think is really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Alignment before action, like you were saying, for all of us is just so important. And this just gives us the ability and the knowledge. And like you said, just like the power to do so. Sometimes we feel, lazy or ashamed to not be working all the time. But if that's not our type, then it's like, okay, that makes me feel so much better about niching into what I can do. So thank you so much, Beck, for all of the information.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.